Hi, everyone, and welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. For those of you who are new, my name is Shanala, and for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to read for all of you again. This reading is intended for water sign twin flames. Your love readings for February will be out next week on the 24th. They'll start coming out. Thank you for your patience. I didn't do January, but I had surgery, and it took me longer than I thought it would to feel better. All right, as I'm looking into your spread, I'm going to be using words like feminine and masculine. So please don't too much worry about the physical attributes of the person you're dealing with, because feminine and masculine energy can manifest in any form. Then if you need a personal reading, I got to tell you, one question, $17.50, two questions, $27.50. Link is in the description box. All right, we got all that stuff out of the way, so let's take a look at you. Now, I'm seeing that you could be dealing with a fire sign or an air sign, because that is coming out very prominently. I also have Capricorn for the devil on your person's side, and that is in the reverse. So for those of you who worry about the devil card, at least just know it's kind of a passing influence. Looking into your energy, you're starting your spread off with the Wheel of Fortune. So I feel like in regards to this connection at this time, you've begun to look at your twin as a karmic partner. It's almost like you're no longer participating in the twin flame journey, right? What I notice about your cards is that it feels as though you're trying to move on from this person in a physical form, right? So maybe you've done work on your mind and your heart and how you feel about this person, and you've kind of been able to come to a conclusion. But now it seems like it's time for you to start dating other people, or at least that's how you feel in your mind. Now, some of you could have already met someone and be trying to make things work with that person. I don't feel like you're as interested in this person as you are your twin, or as you were your twin. But I feel like you're looking at this new energy as somebody who's stable and who is able to show up for you, and that you could have like a relationship with. What I'll say about that is that if you want to date other people than your twin, just be very mindful of making this new person pay for your twin's mistakes. And that goes for whether you're with this new person already or you're looking for a new person, because you're in the Four of Cups in the reverse. So that's probably one of my least favorite places to be in the tarot deck. I have a few, but this one is definitely up there. This is you having really big mood swings. Now, I don't know if this is something that's been bothering you for a while. You may have noticed that there's a change inside of you lately where you're either really, really happy or really, really sad, or sometimes you're very patient and everything makes sense and everything's going to happen the way it should in due time, and you have all this faith. And then other times it's like nothing works. My life is horrible. How did I get to this place, right? I feel like for you, it's almost like a pendulum swinging back and forth right now. That is going to be creating problems for you right now. If it's not already, it will in the future. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but I feel like you're just grieving, right? You're grieving the loss of this situation, because in your mind, it's like, okay, I've given this person the amount of time that they should have taken to get their act together, and they haven't. Now it doesn't make sense for me to continue to wait for somebody who's not showing interest in me, because on your person's side, it doesn't look like they're doing anything. And I'll get into that in a minute. But you're taking the necessary actions in the physical, where it's like, okay, I did the waiting. Now I did the healing. Now it's time to really move on from this. I can't wait forever for this person, right? So I feel like even if you're not consciously aware of why you're having these emotional situations, where sometimes you're really great and sometimes you're really low, and then sometimes you're just kind of flatlined, it's because of grief. You may be watching this person, or you could have like friends in common, and you get updates about them. For some of you, you're still connected on like a social media platform. And it looks like this person is living their best life. I know that because I'm looking at this, right? It looks like they're not thinking about you at all. And so for you, it's like even more of an incentive to move on faster, right? Because this person doesn't seem to care. For some of you, you told this person, like, this is what I need from you. And if you don't do this, I have to move on. And they kind of called your bluff, right? They were like, whatever, like, I'm not going to go above and beyond. I'm not going to give you what you need, and you're not going to go anywhere. It almost feels like this person kind of put you in a position where you have to move on, whether you really want to be with someone else or not. You get what I mean? It doesn't make sense to stay with the way that this person has ignored what you've told them, right? So, Four of Cups in the reverse for what you've got going on in your life right now. And I feel like if you're dating other people, you're not finding people that you like. If anything, you're finding people that remind you of your twin, but not in the sense that it's like, oh, so-and-so used to do that. It's more the energy of like, wow, so-and-so would have never just said that right now. I am so turned off from this person, right? If anything, unfortunately, and sometimes this happens when we're like trying to get someone out of our energy, when we try to replace them with someone else, it just pushes us back towards that person that we're trying to get rid of. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be with this person at all, but I am saying that you're being pushed back to the situation because I feel like there's still emotions that you have not dealt with. Because this feels very abrupt, right? It feels like you just kind of woke up one day and you're like, you know what? Enough of this. I'm rearranging my furniture. I'm getting a makeover and I'm joining a dating app, right? And now you're kind of dealing with the aftermath of those decisions because people are interested in you. But I'm not seeing you interested in anyone else. Now, when I'm looking into your person, there's an energy of them avoiding their pain. This person is in pain. You would never know that based on what I'm seeing here because they're disguising it very well. For some of you, this is someone who's like taking trips or they're very publicly having a good time with friends. It seems like this person is living a really great life. But what I'm going to tell you is that that's kind of a facade. It feels as though when the spotlight is on them, they're doing great. But in their private moments, this is someone who is really tortured in their mind, okay? They are struggling because they're looking at how they've robbed themselves from joy in their life. Could be with you, could be their whole life, right? There's an energy of this person trying really hard to mask all of their pain because they want to present kind of this front of like, I'm not upset. I'm not going through anything. Now, the reason why your person behaves this way is because if they were upset or if they allowed people to know that they were upset, they would have to start owning that, right? Because it's like, okay, I'm upset because I miss my feminine. I miss my feminine because I was a jackass and I didn't do any of the things I should have done. I miss my feminine because I love them. I miss my feminine because I made mistakes and I didn't fix what was broken and I didn't change, right? That's all stuff that this person is not willing to deal with. So that's why it seems like they're like living their best life, right? It's a distraction. It's a way to keep them from having to really think about their feelings for you. And I'm going to tell you right now, as happy as this person is making themselves out to be, is as sad as they really are. They're just hiding that from the world. And it could be because this person feels like you have inside information about them. You know, maybe this person feels like you watch them or they feel as though you have a tendency to like get updated about them from like friends or family. So they're kind of putting on this brave face, right? This person is doing something a little bit strange because I feel like this is actually how they process things. is by ignoring them. So just the same way that one day you woke up and you were like, you know what, to hell with this. I need to throw out his hoodie, or I need to give away her whatever that she left at my house. I need to just be done with this. I need to move on. They kind of do the same thing where they'll like ignore whatever they're feeling. And then one day they just wake up and they already have a decision made in their mind, right? So kind of weird because you guys operate in a very similar fashion. But for you, you're more emotional, whereas this person is more analytical. But you avoid your emotions until it's like, boom, I need to do this now. And then they avoid whatever their like nagging thoughts are until suddenly it's so big they have to take care of it. You get what I mean? So kind of interesting because I feel like you get annoyed with this person for not being emotional. And they don't share their thoughts either. So you wouldn't even know like how analytical this person is, but they live inside their head, you know? And so it's really hard to kind of get a read on what this person is doing because they literally will not do anything until they're sure. So it's almost like they go on autopilot until they've made up their mind. This person has an autopilot where it's set to like pretend to be happy. And, you know, in all honesty, you're kind of on that autopilot too, because you're trying to build this new life without this person. They're trying to make it look like they don't need you, right? When in reality, they do. They do. You know, this person, I feel like behind the scenes is thinking about how they could get back into your good graces, how they could create more harmony within the situation, because they understand as they're seeing you move on or as time is going by and you're just not as into them. Like for those of you who are talking to this person, you may be saying things like, yeah, I'm going on a date, right? They know that you mean business. I don't think this person is looking at you like you're never going to leave. So I don't know what your dynamic is, right? But I don't feel like this person is thinking that you're not going to go anywhere. I do think when you try to give the ultimatum to this person, though, to do right by you, they called your bluff, not so much because they were playing games, but more because they hadn't come to that decision yet that I was talking to you about, right? Like how that person gets on autopilot. So they don't do anything but what they've been doing until they wake up and they're like, yes, I have to take my water sign up on that ultimatum and make sure that I start showing up, right? So you feel like this person didn't listen to what you had to say, but I think this person is just like really slow to get to a point where they actually take action. Because this is someone who looks at every single outcome. Oh, if I did this, this would happen. If I did this, this will happen. If I do this, this will happen. But then they get so overwhelmed by all the possibilities that it's almost like they file it away and it's just in queue. So eventually it comes up and they're like, okay, I need to do this. Okay, well, damn, you're late because I've already grieved your loss. You're dead to me now, you know, so you want to come in to my life and I'm like supposed to resurrect all these feelings that I've stuffed way down in my left foot, right? Because this person's got the I've never forgotten you card. Well, it would be very hard to tell this person thinks about you at all based on the way that they operate, right? So very frustrating energy. I feel like for you, you would probably be open to having a discussion with this person, even though right now it feels like you're not. I think you're mad and you're hurt. You know what I mean? That's really what anger is when you're hurt. But what I will say about that is that perhaps instead of trying to like replace this person right now, because I'm not saying you have to be with this person at all, but maybe get to the bottom of how this situation affected your self-esteem. Because there's something here where it's almost like you're just going through the motions of life based on the way this person treated you. So maybe you're just dating because you don't want to be alone or you do want to get married one day. But your perception of dating, your perception of yourself, it's all viewed through the lens of like how this person made you feel by not showing up for you in the time that you set out for them to do it, right? Like if you had a time frame, like in 3 months, this person better tell me that they at least love me, right? When they didn't do whatever it was you wanted them to do, it actually made you feel as though you're not worthy of something long term. It doesn't mean you don't want it. It doesn't mean you don't deserve it. But emotionally, for some reason, it's almost like if this person couldn't feel the connection or they couldn't show up for me and I wanted them and we had such a deep bond, why would a stranger or someone new, show up for me in that way? You get what I mean? I feel like you're holding a grudge against this person, which I can totally see why, because this energy, this feels cold. It feels like you're very loving. You were always kind of the underdog. You did the most, always hoping that this person would see how much you love them. And for them, it's like they were still living in the autopilot or the program that they had adopted before they met you. So it's almost like this person's software wasn't upgraded to include you. This person's like a robot. This is very robotic. It's like, this is someone who's like, I do this every day. This is the way I've always done it. This is the best system that I found for this, or I love this man or woman. This is who I've always loved. This is who I'm supposed to spend my life with. And then you show up and it's like, no, I have my systems in place. I have my systems in place. And so I feel like this person kind of treated you like you were a virus corrupting their programming, right? Because they're so robotic that it's almost like they have to integrate you into their life. And then it's like, how do I do that? What needs to change? But this is who I love. This is who I'm supposed to be with, even though I'm not happy, even though I don't love this person. This is the job I've always worked since I was 14 years old, and now I'm 25. You get what I'm saying? Like, this person just has this one-track mind where I think that's what helps them to manage their emotions, because I feel like they have a really hard time with emotions. So this is someone that's kind of flatline, right? This is someone they're never too high, they're never too low. And maybe that's why you're having this imbalance where you're like swinging back and forth, because I feel like people kind of have this thing where it's like they're always at their regular, right? Like their normal state of being. I'm okay. I'm not excited. I'm not sad. I'm here, right? And I'm here. And then when you come into one another's orbit, you should be able to just like travel through life, staying in your natural state of being. But because this person's natural state of being is so opposing to your energy, it's almost like it knocks you out of alignment. And so you're just swinging, trying to regain your bearing. Well, this person is still traveling, at the rate of like whatever their mind was doing before they came into your life. So this person is really, they're really weird. And I'm not saying it to be mean, but I feel like it's almost like this person gets updates to their internal processing system once every 6 months. So like anything you said to them, it's just marinating. And, then eventually it'll be like install software, update hard drive, right? And then it'll be like, oh, wait a minute. I got to get back to Cancer or Pisces or Scorpio. I have to talk to my water sign, and get back to them about what I was doing, because I had to get all my neurological pathways, firing in a different direction than I'm used to. And it's just taken so long for me to assimilate this idea into my mind and into my life. Like this person is so systematic about their approach. And it's like, until they figure out every obstacle, every opportunity, every what if, they don't do anything different than what they're doing. Because to them, what they're doing is tried and true. Even if it doesn't work, it's what they've been doing. So until they've like literally looked at every single outcome and figured out how they can fit anything new into their life, they don't change what they're doing. So really frustrating energy, because for you, I feel like you function from your heart space. And if something feels good, you do it. And if something feels bad, you don't do it. and you're more impulsive, whereas this person is so much more rigid, but in some ways, maybe you balance one another out. If you can find your state of operating, your natural space where you vibrate okay, and then learn how to stay in that space regardless of what the other one's doing, so they don't knock you into this emotional pendulum. You know what I mean? And that's going to come from you finding your own security within yourself. Because if you look to this person to provide you with security, they can't for at least 3 to 6 months, right? Because they have to get these like updates. On the bright side, what I'll say about people who operate like this is that once they acclimate themselves to the idea of you being a permanent fixture in their life, right? And once they like empty their deleted files so that they're really gone, this person, I swear, maybe you think this person's on the spectrum or something, the autism spectrum, because they're just so cold, but they're very just like, it's so hard to get a read on this. Not for me, because I actually have known people like this, and I'm just like, God, you're annoying, because it doesn't feel like they're genuine or authentic, because they're just so calculating. But they are, you know what I mean? You know that. That's something that I think attracts you to this person, because you see this in them. But the good part about this is once they've deleted the junk files that they hold on to, once they, put the program of you into their life, it's going to be very hard for you to get rid of this person if that's something that you want. It just takes forever. You know what I mean? But the same way that it's taking forever for them to integrate you into their life is the same way that it'll take forever for them to decide they no longer want you in their life. So, I mean, it's kind of worth the wait, because I feel like once this person really does put you in the program, you're not going to go anywhere. You would have a very like loyal person. But for the time being, because they're not giving you anything to go on, you feel like they don't like you. You feel like they never cared, right? It's like talking to a brick wall, because I don't think this person is self-aware enough to understand themselves, kind of like what we're talking about. I don't think they get this about themselves to even be able to articulate it to you. This just might be somebody who says very little about themselves when you're open and you're willing to talk about your feelings. And this person, because they don't really feel feelings, like feelings are kind of an afterthought. They don't do what makes them happy. They kind of just do what works. So this could be somebody that you tell your whole life story to, and you're like, this is why I feel this way, and I just need you to do a little more, and if you could just call me. And then they look at you and they're just like, I'm not big on feelings. Or I'm a very simple person. I don't need all that. Or, you know what I mean? Like, this is somebody who just, they say very little. And to them, because they're giving you the least amount of information, they are being easy. But to you, that's the exact opposite of what you need, right? Because it's not reassuring. This person just, I don't think they are very socially, like they might be really good at doing what works in social settings. So they could seem popular, or they could seem like the really good friend. But in reality, that I'm not going to say that's not who they are, but that's something that they've adopted because they saw that it's a system that works. You get what I mean? So I don't know. I feel like this person, they're just a little bit difficult. And because you're both so incredibly different, it feels like there are barriers to this, right? It feels like it's really hard to figure out where they're at. This person, their emotions are the last thing they consider. Whereas with you, your emotions are the first thing that you consider, and pretty much the only thing that matter, because to you, it's like, if I want this bad enough, if this makes me happy enough, this can work no matter what. Whereas they're like, well, I'm going to look at all of the obstacles, all of the solutions, the percentage rate of success. And then I guess I'll, factor in whether or not this is even something I really want to do anymore or something that I actually want in my life. You get what I mean? Kind of weird. I wouldn't be surprised if this is somebody who like literally eats the same thing every day, or they have a really hard time like replacing things when they're old and broken. They probably just like use something forever. This could be somebody that owns like 22 black shirts, you know, and they just literally just wear the same thing because they don't like to think about it, right? This could be someone who doesn't own a lot of stuff. They try to be as simple as possible, but what they don't understand is in their simplicity, they're actually very confusing and very difficult to deal with. I don't mean to laugh because it's not funny when you're dealing with it. It's annoying because this person is like, you probably wonder, like, are you dumb? Just because they don't talk enough to explain themselves to you, but they don't see a problem with what they're doing. Like, to them, they feel like they're just easy. Like, they probably tell you, like, I don't get why you're so upset. Like, I'm a simple person. This is easy. This isn't hard. You know what I mean? Like, and you're like, no, you're infuriating. What is easy about having to try to read your mind, right? Because you are an empath. So when you're with this person, sometimes you can pick up on their emotions, but this person feels so little, right? Or it's to such a lesser degree. This person doesn't give you very much to go on. So there's nothing simple about this. It's actually upsetting to you because I feel like when you're with people, you can read them. You can pick up on who they are, what kind of person they are, what their thoughts are. This person is just very stonewall, right? So no, it's not easy. It's like you have blinders. You can't feel this person out sometimes. And then that's probably what knocks you out of alignment, because for you, I feel like you use your empathic abilities the same way that people who aren't empaths use their five senses, right? This is something that you rely on, and it's something that you feel like keeps you safe and helps you to kind of ascertain who people are and what people expect, and it gives you direction, right? So when you're with this person and they're just so difficult to get a read on because they don't feel, right? And then they don't explain their thoughts, their thought processes to you. This is probably kind of magnetic because this is someone that you can't just figure out right away, right? And so as frustrating as it is, I can also see why if you're dating other people, they're probably kind of boring, right? Because you're with them and you can maybe hear their thoughts or feel their feelings, and you're just like, nah, yep, I already got you all figured out. Whereas this person is kind of like a Rubik's Cube. They're a lot more complex. So what this is creating for your situation, Two of Pentacles reverse, beginnings in the reverse. This is good because I feel like for you, you have been thinking about going off, dating someone new. Maybe you've been trying to date. Maybe you're in a relationship that you're not as invested in. This is you coming to the realization that you need time. Okay. You may not need to be with this person, but you just might need some more time to heal. And then later on, you'll be able to figure out what works for you. I feel like you're kind of trying to rush the process of feeling better. So don't be hard on yourself, right? But also don't suck other people into your chaos. If you're still grieving the loss of someone, it's probably not fair to the new person to start being with them, because really all you're looking for is like kind of a distraction from how you feel, right? Same way this person is going through their emotions. Now, Two of Pentacles reversed, beginnings in the reverse for this person. They're resisting change. They're struggling. But this is the tipping point where it's like, these two ideas are getting so big. What I've always done, what I could be doing, what I've always done and who I've always done it with, right? Maybe a karmic partner, my water sign, right? This person can only run one program at a time. I don't mean to laugh, but it's just literally like as I'm in their energy, they're just they can't do both. You know, that's when this person gets out of whack, out of alignment. So this person may get frustrated with you when you're overly emotional, And you look at it as them being a narcissist and being like, oh, why are you telling me that I'm being emotional? My feelings are valid. You're the reason I feel this way. And they are frustrated because they can't run two programs at once. So your emotional state, when you get into that like flux of like, oh, you're not doing this and you're not doing that, and I feel like this, and maybe you're crying, or maybe you're not crying and you're just completely shutting down, and that's a different program than what you usually do. Like, that's what gets them swinging, right? And their pendulum out of alignment. So this person, because they've had these two programs, right? They got you and whatever you guys have been doing, and then they have whatever they were doing before they met you that they were trying really hard to maintain. They're gonna collide. So I guess this person's like a 6-month update is coming where they have to like reintegrate and reacclimate their hard drive, software, whatever you want to call it. And that's going to create something different, okay? Because now this person, you won't know this for a while because the way they operate, but they're trying to create a new program where they can merge the old with the new, okay? So I'm going to take a look at what that will create for you, because I see that you want something, you want something real. You probably want some answers from this person, which is like trying to get blood out of a turnip. So I'm going to take a look at what will come of this, right? Because I do see that this person, either they're realizing that the systems they have in place, I don't think this person would get rid of the system, but they're realizing that they've been kind of a slave to their old way of doing things. I don't think this person will ever be without systems, though. Like the way they process and the analytical mind that this person has, it will be a long time coming if you want this person to talk to you about how much they love you. Okay, I love you in the reverse. I've made mistakes in the reverse. Even if they start to understand that about themselves, that they've messed up or how much you mean to them, it's going to take a really long time for this person to be able to tell you those things. Just because that's not who they are, right? So let's take a look in the extended reading at the future of this, because I'm seeing a new development in this situation. And I feel like it's going to affect your life in one way or another. We shall see, because I know that you're still pretty upset, pretty hurt. But what I will say is, in the meantime, if you don't follow me over to the extended reading, perhaps work on some of these feelings that you're having, because you have more questions than answers. And I feel like this person may not be able to give you those answers right now. But I also feel like inserting a new person into the space that you kind of have in your life may not quite be the answer for you. It might be good for you to just like spend time with friends and really give yourself patience and kindness at this time, rather than trying to push yourself to hurry up and find this person's replacement. Okay. All right. I'm going to put the preview to the extended reading after this. It's coming right up. And if you need that personal reading, make sure to click on the link to my store in the description box below. Bye. You brought something into this person's life, and I don't know if you're aware of it. Probably not, because the way that this person operates, I don't feel like they share these things with you. But you brought a sense of like something new, when you met this person. I feel like you modeled your life in a way that you had faith in people, you had faith in love, you believed the best about most situations. You believed that miracles could happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were not so rigid. Whereas this person's like, if I can't touch it, taste it, see it, feel it, it's not real. Don't talk to me about God. They probably have like no spiritual association or affiliation, right? But you came into this person's life, and even though they were so cold, I feel like you did something. And it's not apparent to you, because when this spark happened, nothing changed, right? It was like, it's there, I see it, but nothing's changing. But what you don't realize is, to this person, what you did is something that they always go back to in their mind, right? However you showed up for this person, however you loved this person, it's so foreign to them that it's something that they can't forget, right? And it's growing. It's almost like it's set a new standard for them to model their new program after. Divine Resolution Tarot loves you. If you love us back, leave a like and let us know. It makes us smile. Thank you so much for watching our videos, and have an amazing day.